Hey you guys, welcome back to K&K's Inspired Creations with Latara. So today I'm going to show you guys how I made this very cute full-size lemon meringue pie. So I started off by grabbing a pie pan that I got from Dollar Tree, as well as some more Modelite from Walmart. I told you when it comes to pie crust, this is probably my absolute favorite air dry clay to use. So right now I'm just conditioning the clay. You want to do this, you want to kind of warm up the clay, so that when it dries, this kind of helps it, not crack or whatever. It kind of prevents cracking a little bit. This is one of the very first pies that I've ever made, so I'm excited to share this with you guys. I add a little bit of brown, a little bit of yellow. Like I said before, I don't like starting off with just like white clay. I like to give it a little bit of color, especially if it's going to be crust. That way, once it dries, I can always just dry brush colors on there instead of feeling like I have to kind of paint the whole pie. So I am just kind of conditioning it again, but more so just to get that color everywhere. And again, I am using my hands to kind of smooth this out and pat it down, because I really don't have a rolling pin. Like, that was the only rolling pin I had, and the air dry clay sticks to it, and there was really nothing I could do about it. So I just used what I had, which was my hand, and it worked out perfectly good. So all I'm doing is just kind of flatten it out, trying to make it as flat as well as long as I can pretty much make it, so that I can put it in the pie pan. And then I am using a knife, literally a butter knife that you can get out the kitchen, that I only used for, crafting. And I'm cutting out strips. And this is basically strips that's going to go around the pie. This is literally, like I said, the pie crust. This one isn't going to have a lattice, so this is just going around. I did take some toilet paper holders and just kind of cut them down. And just glued them into the inside of the pie pan, and that is basically just to dummy up the pie pan so that I don't have to use a whole bunch of product for this pie. That way you kind of save money, and at the end of the day, nobody's going to really see this part or that part of the pie, so it's okay if you kind of use something to dummy it up. So I just need a little bit more just to kind of finish that up. And now I'm going to kind of use my fingers by just pressing it in to kind of give the pie crust that little, the little pie look. I'm sure there's other ways you can do it, but that was the only thing I could think of at the time. So it worked, and yeah, I did that. I did cut out a piece of cardboard into a circle beforehand, and just kind of glued that to the paper towel holders. In the inside, so that it dummies up the bottom, so I only have a little bit that I need to add my silicone caulking to. So this is silicone caulking, clear. You can get it from any hardware store, and I just added some yellow yellow pigment, resin pigment to it. And so all I'm doing is just spreading it out on this little cardboard. If I redid this, although it did come out really nice, you can't see the cardboard at all once I was done with this. But one thing I probably would do, just to keep that yellow color, I would probably paint that cardboard yellow, because it is like kind of see-through-ish kind of, and so I think it makes that yellow filling on my pie look a little darker than it should be, and that's because you can kind of see the cardboard underneath. But it still turned out really really nice, and it's not something you have to do. It's just something that I would say I would do. And so I am only really going around the edge, because I do plan on putting a lot of spackle in the middle, so it wasn't really necessary to really put any on the outside. And so now I am just kind of mixing together some orange, yellow, as well as some brown paint, and I'm going to be using that to just kind of, again, dry brush the crust. Normally you do want to kind of wait until your air dry clay dries before painting it. This was one of my first ones, so I didn't really know how important it was to just kind of wait and let it dry. But I am going ahead and just kind of doing the crust, doing it darker in some areas, lighter in some areas, because typically on a pie you have some parts, like the raised parts, that are usually darker, and all that good stuff. But I don't know too much about or how to really dry brush and do that kind of stuff. So I would like watch some type of tutorial or something like that if I were you, if you wanted to get it looking like a real pie. And I do want to take a second and thank you so much for watching my videos. You can be watching anybody else's videos on the planet, but you're watching mine, and I'm very much appreciative of that. And so if this is your first time here, welcome to my little pastel bakery corner of the internet. And if you're returning, hey, Fake Bake Bestie, thank you so much for coming back. Here we do create fake bake desserts, seasonal decor, and fun DIY pieces that look good enough to eat. So if that is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe to become my Fake Bake Bestie as well. So this is where I'm using or adding my fake whipped cream. This is just lightweight spackle. You can get it from any hardware store. I like the Fast and Final. That's my favorite when it comes to whipped cream or icing, stuff like that. And I did have some spackle left over, so instead of wasting it, I just went around the outer portion of the pie and just added just little dollops of the spackle / whipped cream. And honestly, I think that made the pie look like 10 times better than it did if I hadn't done that. Plus, I do like whipped cream, so this is how I'll make my pie. And so I ended up just putting a little lemon slice on there that you can get off of Amazon. And it turned out so cute. This is the final reveal. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss a tutorial. And until next time, keep it sweet and keep it creative.